Hello, my name is Princess, and today I'll be explaining to you my web development project in which I chose the theme portfolio. So let's begin. Over here on the hero page, we have a large box with a word portfolio, my name, and then a button to get to know me, which goes to the introduction of myself. And then down here, we have my experiences. And then once you scroll deeper down, you have different showcases of my digital creations, and then coding projects. But all these three are similar. But once we go here at the very bottom, we have contact information where the user can type in their name, their email, their message that they would like to send me, and then hit send message. If none of the required fields are met, this error shows up. Then we also have my contact information down here, and then here we have a footer and a button that goes back to the very top. So let's go to formal work. Now these two buttons work the same way. Let's go. So here we have an image grid, which is a very simple grid of images set at the same size right next to each other. And then once we go to creative work, we have the same thing, but it's set as a CSS grid, more like and then down here we have software and websites I use, which is just the simple text with the box all around it. So this page is very responsive. Now if I were to change the orientation or the size of the web, it would always try and fill up the page based and shuffle the images based on the size and orientation. Now let's go to web development, where you can see my coding projects, which is just very similar to the formal work, but with an additional description attached with the image. And then down here we have similar thing, footer, and instead of the back to top, we have a link that goes directly back to home. So let's go to certificates, which is very simple and quite the same as the web development page, but with different text and without the smaller indications of what languages I used. So up here we have the contact button, which goes immediately to the very bottom. And what I made here is actually pretty interesting because once you go to certificates, contact scrolls all the way down here, right? So how did I manage to do that? So I will explain that in our short presentation. Now this presentation briefly explains the code that it repeats on the main HTML and the four other pages. So let's go through it very quickly. Of course, we have the doc type declaration, the HTML preamble, in which I connect the external CSS, the external JavaScript files, and then I import the fonts and the needed fonts from Google Fonts. So we have the inline CSS. Now, what's the difference between inline CSS and the external CSS that is already connected to everything else? Well, the inline is only, well, it's more like it's only a local code for that specific page. But for the external one, multiple pages can connect to it. So then we have the navigation bar. Now here I will explain how the contact is made. So we have here this hashtag contact. So that is the ID of the area which it goes to. So if we were to go to the code and we were to look for the contact list, contact right there, section ID contact. So this section is named contact. If I were to call for hashtag contact, um, it'll scroll all the way down here and go to that part of the page. Now, if I were to say go here, click contact, it'll first go to home. It'll first go to home here. Yeah, it'll first look for the folder in which this file is connected to, which is one underscore main. And then it will go to the home page, which is princess underscore portfolio, and then go to the section ID, which is finally hashtag contact. Now let's continue really quickly. Burger for mobile responsiveness. Now, what is a burger doing in my code? So, like I said, the website is a bit responsive, I suppose. Now, if we were to go to creative work to showcase it more properly, if I were to stick this all together, as you can see, if it's more of an awkward orientation, the the navigation bar gets a bit cooped up next to each other. But of course, let's pretend this is a phone, and now we have a burger right here, which serves as our navigation bar. Now, if we were to click this, the JavaScript will create an animation to turn the three lines into an X, and then we have our navigation menu, which serves as it does the same exact things, but with a different look to it. So that makes it responsive for any orientation. So let's go back to our presentation. Footer. So this is just simple. The section you see at the very bottom with the copyright symbol, my name, the title, and then the link that goes back to top. Now it's the same uh, type of code that I used for the navigation bar so that it'll scroll all the way to contacts. It's also hashtag home, so it'll look for the section ID hashtag home and go all the way up, which is over here. Nope, not over here. It went all the way to up. Yes, there. Home. So that's it, and thank you for watching.